Welcome to the IADS Retail Park, where we dig into how retail giants evolve or go extinct. I'm Maya, and this week we're diving into something that has the entire industry buzzing. This month, over 41,000 people descended on New York for NRF 2026, the biggest retail show ever. But here's the thing, it didn't quite feel like a retail show anymore. Joining me today is Selvan, Managing Director of IADS, who spent 3 days on the ground at NRF and came back with some pretty provocative observations. Selvan, welcome back, and let's just get straight to it. What was different this year?
Thanks, Maya. Look, the energy was great as usual. Record attendance, the largest expo floor we've ever seen. But walking through it, you couldn't escape this feeling that something fundamental had shifted. Microsoft and Google had these spectacularly large booths, way bigger than previous years. Every single exhibitor seemed to be selling some version of agentic AI. And one of the most talked about keynotes? It wasn't a retailer. It was Walmart's CEO sitting down with Google's Sundar Pichai.
So, tech companies weren't just at the retail conference, they were kind of taking it over.
That's the tension, right? There was this moment where I walked through the village in Manhattan, and there's this massive ChatGPT advertisement towering over this iconic little shop. And then it hit me, this is the visual metaphor for what's happening. Tech isn't just enabling retail anymore, it's eating it.
That's a strong statement, Selvan. But I imagine not everyone at NRF was just accepting this, right? What were the retailers actually saying?
Well, Maya, that's where it gets interesting. Beneath all the vendor noise, there were these really critical conversations happening about what retailers need to own versus what they can afford to cede to these platforms. REI's new CEO, for example, had this fascinating session about what she calls selective openness.
Selective openness. What does that mean in practice?
So, REI has these Green Vest associates, 15,000 passionate outdoor experts across nearly 200 stores. They're the brand's competitive moat. And the CEO is very clear, we're going to digitize that expertise, put Green Vest testimonials and videos into our digital channels, but we're not just giving that away to every AI platform out there. They'll participate in external AI ecosystems to stay visible, but their highest value content stays exclusive to REI's own channels.
So it's strategic. They're asking, what keeps us a destination versus just becoming a data source for someone else's bot?
Yes, that's exactly right, Maya. And you saw this same thinking from LVMH. They have this three criteria rule for any AI project. Does it create a significant opportunity? Does it genuinely elevate the client experience? And do we have the legitimacy to win in this space? If it doesn't meet all three, they don't do it. It's disciplined innovation, not innovation for innovation's sake.
Wow, I love that. Because I think a lot of retailers are feeling this pressure to do something with AI, but they're not always clear on what the right something is. What about the retailers who are actually seeing measurable results?
Singapore's Fair Price Group is a great example. They've built what they call the store of tomorrow, smart trolleys with personalized shopping assistants, vision-powered cameras monitoring stock, geofence promotions. And here's what matters. They're seeing a 17% increase in basket size.
That's not incremental, that's real money.
Right. And the key is they're using AI not to cut labor costs, but to upskill their staff. The technology gives store managers real-time insights on inventory, customer flow, workforce optimization. It's augmenting human capability, not replacing it. And they're also using their physical stores as digital acquisition tools. Customers download the fair price.
So, physical stores aren't just stores, they're recruitment centers for the digital ecosystem.
Yep, you've got it. Now contrast that with what we heard in some of the more skeptical sessions. There was this great panel asking, is there too much enthusiasm for AI? And the panelists were pretty blunt. Despite record investment, most companies are still struggling to achieve positive ROI from their AI deployments.
Wait, why? What's the disconnect?
One speaker, Perosoli, had this concept called semantic capital. Basically, he's saying that every company has access to the same powerful AI models and the same generic data. What's scarce is your unique context, how your company defines a good customer, what risk means to you, your specific decision logic. Most companies still run on tribal knowledge. Ask Sarah, she knows. But that knowledge needs to be codified, made machine readable before AI can actually deliver value.
So it's not about having the fanciest AI model, it's about having your foundational data and processes in order first.
Yes, Maya, you've got quite a point there. It's the boring work that determines success. Data taxonomy, clean structures, clear objectives. Without that, you're just feeding generic AI with generic data and wondering why you're not seeing returns.
There was also this really interesting observation about Amazon and Walmart taking completely different strategic paths. Can you break that down?
Yeah, Jason Del Rey had this great session on conversational commerce. He pointed out that Amazon is building what he called a fortress strategy. They're blocking external AI apps from scraping their data, developing their own AI assistant called Rufus, and basically creating a walled garden. Walmart, on the other hand, is going the opposite direction. They're partnering with AI companies, syndicating their product data widely, trying to make sure Walmart products show up when people search on ChatGPT or Perplexity or any of these emerging AI platforms.
So Amazon is saying build the moat higher, and Walmart is saying be everywhere.
That's correct. And for smaller retailers, the big question is, which strategy do you follow? Do you protect your data and try to own the customer relationship? Or do you make your products as visible as possible across every platform, even if that means losing some control? He did. He said the most urgent priority, regardless of your external strategy, is to make sure your own website can deliver a conversational, intelligent experience. He told this story about trying to find something on Home Depot's site, getting frustrated and just asking ChatGPT instead. And that's the existential risk. If your own site can't match the intelligence of general AI platforms, customers will bypass you entirely.
And I'm guessing Del Rey had some advice on this. So we've talked a lot about AI, which dominated the show, but I know you also spent time looking at physical stores. Is there anything interesting happening there, or is it all digital now?
Actually, physical retail is having a genuine renaissance. Bloomingdale's is doing a massive renovation of their 59th Street flagship. They're replacing the iconic checkered floors with hardwood, creating these color blocked multi brand areas. And Chanel just opened their first duplex at Bloomingdale's. They're also building out 20 personal shopping cabins on one floor alone, real luxury service infrastructure.
I see. So they're doubling down on experience.
Completely. And then there's Printemps New York, which is doing something radical. They're calling it an apartment store instead of a department store. The whole layout is structured around consumer moments. There's a playroom with affordable items, a salon with luxury brands and flooring inspired by Versailles, a boudoir for high end jewelry. Staff track sales by individual rather than by department, and they update visual merchandising twice a week to create constant newness.
That sounds operationally complex, if I might add.
It really is. It transfers a lot of complexity onto the sales staff, but it's also creating a differentiated experience you can't get online. And that seems to be the theme. Physical retail isn't dying, but it has to offer something genuinely different.
Before we end our talk here, I want to touch on something timely. Today is Data Privacy Day, January 28th. Given everything we've talked about with AI and data strategies, how does privacy fit into this conversation?
It's central, actually. LDMH talked a lot about their responsible AI charter. Every Maison has responsible AI officers, and they've built governance structures to ensure trust with employees, creatives, and clients. For them, it's not just compliance, it's brand equity. In luxury, trust is everything. And when you think about Fair Price integrating with Singapore's national ID system, or all these companies building semantic capital by codifying their tribal knowledge, that's sensitive information. The question retailers need to ask is, as we make our operations more intelligent, how do we architect systems that are transparent and trustworthy?
All right, so data governance isn't a constraint on innovation, it's actually a competitive advantage.
Indeed, Maya, retailers that learn to balance intelligence with trust, striking a harmonious blend of AI capability and customer intimacy, will be the ones who will define the next era.
Selvan, this has been such a valuable conversation. For everyone listening, the full NRF 2026 report with all of Selvan's insights, including the store visits, the startup showcases, all the frameworks we didn't have time to cover, is available on IADS, exclusive insights on Substack. We'll put the link in the episode description.
Thanks for having me, Maya. And for everyone trying to make sense of where retail is heading, just remember the question isn't whether to embrace AI. It's what you need to own to stay a destination, not just infrastructure.
Perfectly said. Thank you for joining us on IADS Retail Park. Until next time, keep evolving because in retail, adaptation isn't optional. This podcast uses AI clone voices created with human oversight to ensure quality and accuracy.